This film will haunt you. Stanley Kubrick's 1980 masterpiece, The Shining.
Don't play with us, Daddy. Forever and ever.
With a budget of $19 million, this film grossed $48 million worldwide, based on a novel by Stephen King of the same name. This film has an 84% tomato meter, a 93% popcorn meter, and an 8.4 on IMDb. This is a fan favorite and one of mine as well. Directed by Stanley Kubrick, this film is very different from the original novel that Stephen King wrote. Stephen King never liked the adaptation of this film, and Stanley Kubrick never planned to make a faithful adaptation of this film. When he bought the rights to the movie, he knew he was going to change most of it. Kind of a dick move, really, but we got a masterpiece out of it, so good job, Stanley Kubrick. Stephen King actually wrote a screenplay for The Shining, and Stanley Kubrick never even read the thing. Kubrick worked with author Diane Johnson to write the screenplay that he wanted. He wanted this movie to be scary as hell. He wanted to get into horror films for quite a while. He was turned down to direct The Exorcist, and this was his horror masterpiece. Top 5 interesting facts about The Shining. Fact number 5. The Timberline Hotel in Oregon is where they filmed the exteriors for The Shining. The Timberline Hotel asked them, please, we have a room 217. Can you change the name of the room in the movie? So they changed it to 237, as Timberline did not have a room 237. Timberline feared that people would avoid room 217 after this movie was released. What happened was the exact opposite, even stating on their website, room 217 is the most requested room that we have. Interesting fact number 4 about The Shining. This is Danny Lloyd's only feature film. 2 years after this released, he played in a TV movie. At age 14, he gave up on acting altogether. He just couldn't find success in Hollywood. Unfortunately, this was his only feature film. However, he does have a small cameo in the sequel from 2019's Dr. Sleep. Interesting fact number 3, in addition to improvising one of the most famous lines in movie history with, "Here's Johnny," Jack Nicholson actually wrote one of the scenes. Him and Stanley Kubrick were talking, and Jack Nicholson really identified with the character of Jack Torrance in the movie. He was telling Stanley Kubrick a story about when he was on the edge of his divorce with his ex-wife. He was filming in a movie all day long and writing his own screenplay all night long. One night she comes in and he just berates her and goes off, screams at her, says essentially everything that we see in that scene in the movie. Stanley Kubrick was so inspired by it and the truth, the authenticity of it, that him and Jack Nicholson sit down and wrote the scene and put it into the script. Interesting fact number 2, known as quite eccentric, Stanley Kubrick would often shoot scenes, do more takes than any other director in Hollywood. He would shoot scene over and over and over and over again. He did this for 3 main reasons. Reason number 1, he wanted to cover every option in the story in case he wanted to change little aspects in post, so he would get more of the story by shooting the scene over and over. Reason number 2, he always felt, why would you spend so much time preparing a script and going through this whole process to film a movie and then short the actual thing that you're there to do? You're there to film the movie. Why wouldn't you film it as much as you can while you have that opportunity? Spends 5 years writing the thing, going through research and development, getting everything ready, and then you're going to try and shoot in 50 days? Why? Take your time and make the movie worth it. I kind of agree with him on that. And reason number 3, he wanted to break the actors down. The first 5 takes, 10 takes, they'd just give him what he wanted. After that, for a little period, they'd just be so tired. By the end of it, they couldn't think anymore. They had just done the same thing over and over and over, that they had now become that character. They had just gotten rid of everything that, for example, Jack Nicholson is. That's all out the window. Now I am Jack Torrance delivering a line. He did this so often that he is actually in the Guinness Book of World Records. The scene where Shelley Duvall is walking backwards up the stairs away from Jack Nicholson and she's swinging a bat at him, that scene was filmed 127 times. It is a record for the most takes of a scene with spoken dialogue. He was insane. He was a madman. However, that film is incredible. He broke Shelley Duvall down so much that by the end of that, her look on her face of terror is sure terror. She's just going, when the fuck is this going to end? When is this going to be over? Like 127 takes. That is 2 days of work. Insanity. Stanley Kubrick was a genius, and God, did he create a great movie here. And interesting fact number 1 about The Shining. The original film's ending was quite different, which is common in Hollywood. You start out with an idea and you change it in post. You change it, you edit it down in post, and then you release it. No, this was released in theaters for an entire weekend with a different ending. Stanley Kubrick pulled it out of the theaters, edited the ending down. There was an epilogue in the original film where Ullman, the manager of the hotel, actually visits Wendy in the hospital. This is after the end of the movie. He goes and visits her, and he tells her, I don't know what to tell you. We've combed through the entire place. There's nothing out of the ordinary. There's no dead bodies. There's no blood. There's no damaged radio. There's no damaged snowcat. Everything's fine. We're not sure exactly what you're talking about. Then the film ended with a black screen and a title that said, "The Overlook Hotel would survive this tragedy, as it had so many others. It is still open each year from May 20th to September 20th. It is closed for winter." According to Roger Ebert, Kubrick was wise to remove that epilogue as it pulled one too many rugs out from under the story. And I agree. I think the movie ends perfectly. You assume that they are safe. You assume that he's not. It's a great ending. There's a lot of unanswered threads in this movie, but it doesn't matter. It's a masterpiece of chilling nature. It's great. And I think the epilogue kept in there would have just kind of ruined the entire movie. I don't need you to spoon feed me how the movie ends. I can put that together myself. I'm glad he removed that ending because I don't think I would like that movie nearly as much as I like this one. I'm giving The Shining a 9 out of 10 on the must-watch meter, and I'm talking to you. You must watch this film. It is wonderful. Slow, deliberate, methodical. This is a Kubrick masterpiece. If you haven't watched it, you should absolutely dedicate the 3 hours to watching this film. It is fucking great. For our Halloween rating, we're giving it a 2 out of 5 on the jump scare meter. That's not what this movie is, but there are a few. We're giving it a full 5 out of 5 on the chills meter. It is your own family that is losing their mind and you're trapped in there with them. This movie is chilling as hell. And we're giving it a 4 out of 5 on the gore meter. It's not so much gore, it's mostly disturbing imagery. There is plenty of blood, but this is a gory movie, if you will. It is very disturbing film. I've watched The Shining probably 5, 6, 8 times in my life. I first watched it with my grandmother when I was far too young, maybe 6, 7, 8 years old. I then watched it several times with my buddy whenever I was 16. We were both film nerds and goth kids. We loved horror. We would get into things like this. We watched it several times. I haven't watched this film in probably 20 years. And it still holds up as a great work of art to this day. Stanley Kubrick was a genius who wouldn't stop until it was perfect to him. Kubrick didn't want to get outpaced in Hollywood, and he wanted to do a horror film. That was the newest trend. He wanted to do a great horror film and prove to everyone that he could. I mean, look at his film history. War movie, horror film, period piece with Barry Lyndon. He did all the different genres that he could. Sci-fi, 2001, What the Hell is a Clockwork Orange? He did different genres, and he wanted to do a great horror movie. He was declined the chance to direct The Exorcist, so this was his comeback. He wanted to make a great horror film, and I fucking think he did it. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Is this not a fucking masterpiece?